Another great place here on the Gulf Coast is Felix's Fish Camp on the Causeway. This is Chef George. Chef George, good to see you again as always.
Joe, it's great. Let me tell you what, if you put on TV and Brent Mushburger looked at you, what would people say? What would he say?
Well, Brent Musburger wouldn't say the same thing he said about me as he said about Catherine Webb. That is 100% for sure, Chef George.
He'd probably fire the cameraman.
That's right.
All right, look, we're going to do something from Felix's today, but let me remind you that we have fun at Bluegill, we have fun at Roost Chris Steakhouse with a whole bunch of new specials planned for this year, but you can only talk about so many things. I mean, since it's your show, not mine, I need a half an hour just to get beginning. But what we're going to do, we're going to start by making the seafood cake with the binder. And the binder means we're going to use mayonnaise. And folks, you can use any mayonnaise you want. I actually like Blue Plate, I like Kraft, I like Hellman's, so it doesn't, to me, it doesn't really matter.
Just use a mayonnaise.
Use a mayonnaise. Duke's mayonnaise. Let's not forget about good old Duke. All right, we've got a whole egg here.
All right.
And these are fresh breadcrumbs. And fresh breadcrumbs just make a big difference also. You can use it with or without the crust. The crust just adds a kind of a brown flavor, which is not what we're looking for at the moment, although you can do that. Some people like to use crushed up saltines in there. Some people like to use Ritz crackers. It gives it another depth of flavor that's really, really good. Speaking of depths of flavor, let's put some Lee and Perrins Worcestershire sauce in there.
There you go.
I bet you can't spell that one either.
Worcestershire.
I quit. I don't believe you.
Boom!
You're the first person to do that. My staff can't even do that. Lemon juice.
I did win a spelling competition in 8th grade English class, so just so you know.
That's impressive. I've never caught anybody that can do that. We'll put with some green onions in here for flavor. We're putting in, this is fresh diced red bell pepper. You can use the green if you want. You can use the yellow. The colors just look great in this thing.
Sure.
This is seafood seasoning. I use all types, but on this particular one, I like to use Old Bay.
Okay.
It just has a flavor that I like. And all we do, we stir it around. Now, once this is mixed up all together, we're going to add the seafood. One thing we do when we add the seafood, we really need to give it about 15 or 20 minutes in the refrigerator to give those breadcrumbs time to absorb everything and everything to work its way around. You just can't do it right away, so you got to give yourself about a 20 or 30 minute lead to do that. What we've got here is 1 pound total. This is grilled snapper. Gulf shrimp, and some Gulf leg crab meat all goes into there. And once this is done, it's probably going to, not many people have a home scale, but it'll make about 6 to 7 cakes. And once we make the cakes, and we'll let it sit for that 20 minutes, we're going to put them in. Now, this is a dish you can either pan saute, you can put in the oven and bake, and because I've got to clean up, it's going in the oven.
It's going in the oven.
Save Claude some time.
Sure, I hear you. Well, I tell you what, we're going to take a little break here. That looks so good. 3 seafood classics right in the middle of that fantastic mixture you just made up. The recipe is online. We're going to talk more about Felix's when we come back and also introduce you to the remoulade sauce as well.
Yes, indeedy.
All right, guys.
Welcome back to Studio 10's great kitchen set with Chef George. Always love when he's here. He's from Felix's Fish Camp. I was there New Year's Eve.
I'm going to go behind you and put these in the oven. If you'll open that oven door, we will begin this process, and we'll move on to the next process, which is making the. Now we're putting those in about 450-degree oven. They'll be ready in about 10 to 15 minutes. And what we'll do, we're going to make the remoulade sauce and right now. Which is basically, we start off with mayonnaise.
All right.
Anybody's mayonnaise you want. This happens to be mayonnaise.
All right, yeah, what you said.
It's the first jar of mayonnaise I came to at the store. So, okay.
Whatever you like.
Next, this is that. Now, here's one brand you have to use. Zatarain's Creole Mustard.
Okay.
I mean, no other will be in the same league with it, but mayonnaise, you're fine. Next, little lemon juice. This is as simple as it looks. Worcestershire, Lee and Perrins, Worcestershire. The only man in the world I know beside me that Joe can spell it. A little Worcestershire. Tabasco, little Tabasco. Take the place of that garlic that I don't have today.
Yeah, not used to having you here without garlic.
It scared me when I realized last night. I said, there's no garlic. I don't know. They might throw me off the show.
No,
capers.
we won't do that.
You can mash the capers. You can chop the capers. You can drain them. You can put them in whole.
Okay.
Now, what we've made is 9/10 of a remoulade sauce. We're going to take some green onion, which I have right back here. Put that in there. Green onion not only is it pretty, but it has a great deal of flavor also, so it's great. Now, this is another one that needs to sit for maybe 20 or 30 minutes to kind of let the flavors get to know each other. And when those cakes come out of and we put a little remoulade sauce and squeeze a little lemon over the top, it's something to die for.
Oh, love crab cakes.
Yes,
Sounds
sir.
so good. And you have, these crab cakes are a little bit different. Remind everybody what is in your cakes.
Well, this is actually a seafood cake. We've got fish, we've got cooked fish, cooked shrimp, and crab meat. And I took, you don't have to use, snapper's very expensive, but I use snapper, and I actually blackened the snapper, and I steamed the shrimp in a little bit of Old Bay seasoning, and then you put those together. So there's flavor already built into these as you put it in there. It's not raw. So that's why it takes such a short period of time to get it done.
Because you're cooking the meats, the proteins first.
Right. So you got to be careful with the salt, because you already have, when you put blackening seasoning or seep, you already have salt in there. And you can remember this, you can add salt, can't take it away.
That's
Same
right.
as pepper.
Exactly.
My wife reminds me all the time when I'm cooking it.
Yeah, I'm not I don't use salt so much, but I use a lot of pepper.
Salt.
A lot
You got to be careful with a lot of store-bought things. Salt is a preservative, and that's why there's salt in butter. Sometimes there's salt in a lot of different soups and stuff you see on the shelf. Just read that sodium content and back away from it.
And so many foods have such a great flavor, even without the salt. Just taste it before you put the salt in, and you might be surprised. Sometimes it's just habit to put salt in things. I've gotten that way with some things.
Yes, my generation, that's the salt generation. A lot of people, and my generation, I've seen a lot of people put salt and pepper in, and I do it at our restaurants before they ever taste it. Don't do that.
Exactly.
And they say, this is salt. Well, of course it is. Like, once you put a pound of salt on the thing, for crying out loud.
Exactly. We're going to stir this up a little bit, so make sure you get this recipe online. When we come back, we're going to find more about the new winter menu, because there are a lot of good specials there you're going to want to stop in and get. We'll also find out more about Felix's, and we'll see how everything turns out.
Crazy. Wonderful. Crazy good.
We are cooking something yummy with Chef George from Felix's Fish Camp. Everything smells great. You made some remoulade sauce a little bit earlier. You made some seafood cakes, because there's a little bit of everything in these cakes.
These cakes have 3 types of seafood. It's got shrimp, and I use a whole little P&D shrimp, 'cause I just like the way they look. I use the dark crabby, because you can always see it in there, and you don't have to spend as much on jumbo lump. Dark is just as good. And then we've got some fish, and I happen to use snapper. You can use any fish you want. Go to the local fish market and pick up your favorite fish. But cook everything beforehand. That way you can speed up the process, and it just cooks a lot better. And you finish it off, if you're like me, you like lemon. I just finish off with a little bit of lemon juice on top, and she is good to go.
Okay, we're ready to taste?
Please do that. And now everybody's watching. You got to say, by the way, Brenton Mushberger said he's watching also.
Okay, I am very excited about these. Everything very good at Felix's. That's where we spent New Year's, had our New Year's Eve dinner. Very yummy. And you guys are about to get a new menu, your winter menu.
We just came out with that winter menu, and there's so many things. Well, let me tell you about those. Chef Prince at Bluegill, and Chef Grayson at Felix, and Chef Simmons at Roos have all come up with separate new menus just for the winter features. And Roos is going to have a bunch of sliders for appetizers during, say, 4 to 6 hours during the happy hour. Chef Mike's come up with something called the Other Burger, craziest thing you've ever saw. It finished, let me tell you, it's got ham and cheese and lettuce and tomato and burger and a fried egg on top. They always try to outdo me. They always they succeed too. They succeed. And his red beans and rice and sausage are to die for. I tell you that. They're really wonderful. But we've got a couple things at Felix's. One's called Mexican oysters. Well, we make a chipotle salsa, put it over a regular oyster. We put a piece of applewood smoked bacon. We put a 4-cheese combination on top of that. We bake it off in the oven. When it comes out, we spray this little cilantro cream on top of that, and it's just exploded. It's just taken off. You ever heard of a fried grit cake? We do a fried Gouda cheese grit cake on top of a piece of blackened fish with a shrimp and crab meat white wine sauce on top of that. That's called the bienville, fish and grits.
Wow, you guys just keep trying to outdo each other, because the food just keeps getting better and better.
You can't get it anywhere else. We make them up.
Great. Wow, and these are wonderful too. And my producer's saying we have to go to commercial. These are fantastic. An entire new menu. So make sure that you go by, you check it out, and get some of these yummy, great things to eat.
When we stop having fun, we're going to turn the lights off and go home. And that's what David Cooper says.
All right, there you go. Thank you so much for coming in. It's always a pleasure having you.
Thank you again.
All right.